Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your short take. So, after nearly 3 weeks of total shutdown and dysfunction, the GOP has picked the Speaker of the House today, as of Wednesday. I'm going to read you a quote. Just give me a second here. Ready? All right. If you don't think that moving from Kevin McCarthy to MAGA Mike Johnson shows the ascendance of this movement and where the power in the Republican Party truly lies, then you're not paying attention. That is Matt Gaetz speaking to Steve Bannon on his War Room podcast. And I'm not going to tell Matt Gaetz to shut the fuck up, because Matt Gaetz is absolutely right. Now, my problem with Kevin McCarthy was that he was MAGA, to say the least. What Kevin McCarthy actually is a weak little man who wanted to hold the power gavel. And so he made a deal with the devil. All right, first, after the insurrection, where, by the way, on the day of the insurrection, he had not so many kind words for Donald Trump. He was ready to hold him accountable. Several days later, he went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed Donald Trump's ring, and that was it. It was over after that. So when they got to the point where this year's House Speaker vote rolled around, what they knew was this, that Donald Trump had Kevin McCarthy under his thumb. It's not that Kevin McCarthy is so much MAGA. It's that he's a power-hungry guy. So Donald Trump had him right where they wanted him, and they literally, in exchange for the gavel, asked him to sell out all of the people in this country and this country. And that's exactly what was done. And when Kevin McCarthy didn't fulfill his part of the bargain enough for the extremists, they just pushed him out of office. That's never been done before. Not in the modern day. And they took 3 weeks jerking around with Jim Jordan and everybody else. And then today they elected a gentleman named, I hate the Republican Party. I really do. I can't even remember. MAGA Mike Johnson. So Mike Johnson, is he indeed from Texas? Oh, no, he's Louisiana. That's almost as bad. But it's not quite as bad because they don't have Governor Abbott down there, but it's pretty conservative. So let's talk about Mike Johnson. He's a major league election denier. So you can forget anything remotely related to democracy. There will be nothing over the next year that looks like he's going to cooperate with the Democratic Party. And he also does not support a woman's right to choose. And he does not support LGBTQ rights. And he does not support transgender rights. So right off the bat, this is worthy of a very strong talking to, okay? It should be abundantly clear to everybody right now that the current Republican Party is finished. Unless what you really want is to watch this nation under authoritarian rule. Because the fact of the matter is, even those Republicans who are rational, even the Republicans who are supposedly rational in the House, the more rational Republicans, they could not cross the aisle to cooperate with the Democrats and elect Hakeem Jeffries to see that this country moves forward in a way that works for the American people. Because what really matters most to the Republican Party is power. They want it. They had it with Trump. They want it back. And once they get it back, they will keep it, because what they're slowly but surely doing is trying to convince the American public that the elections are so unreliable that we don't need elections anymore. That's where this is going, just in case you aren't aware of this. All right, don't laugh at this. Don't laugh, because you know what? When I warn people about getting involved with militias and everybody else, back when this began, I told everybody what was going down, and nobody wanted to hear me. I warned people that Roe v. Wade was gone, and I was told it was just a distraction. The left was using it as a distraction. Pay attention, folks. Pay attention and read between the fucking lines. Right now, actually, with that statement by Matt Gaetz, you don't have to read between the lines. He's telling you right off the bat. The only people here that are rational, that actually care about democracy, don't care about it enough to speak up and do anything about it. They want their seats. They want to hold their seats. They don't want to be primaried. Understand this, okay? Let's move on to the Senate for a minute. We look at the GOP in the Senate. We have Tommy Tuberville of the little tiny fucking state of Alabama in the middle of a war in the Ukraine and a war going on between the Israelis and Hamas, rather. In the middle of that kind of war, he is still holding up over 300 confirmations, military confirmations. He is compromising the military in this country, and he is compromising the defense of this nation. And yet nobody on the Republican side in the Senate will stand up to this goddamn freaking maggot. Okay? So let's call the Republican Party finished, because the same people who can't stand up now are not going to stand up if you put them back in office. This party is useless. And as right as Matt Gaetz is about where the loyalties are and where the perceived power is, Matt Gaetz is a fascist. The Republican Party wants authoritarian rule in the United States. They want no rights for women. They want to close the borders so that we are white in this country. And anybody who's here now who isn't white gets no rights. That's exactly the way this is playing out in Peoria. They don't even want women to have the vote. One Republican even stated that the downfall of the country was when women got the vote, because their vision of women is serving men. And it's pretty obvious that that's what it is. Just watch the MAGA women. Watch how they operate. Watch as Casey DeSantis steps behind her husband and puts her hand on his back as he goes down the stage off the stairs before her. Understand this. So again, I'm going to talk to all of you. I'm talking to my LGBT brethren, my transgender brethren. I'm talking about all of the women in America, except the MAGA women, because they have so much self-loathing that they like being second citizens. But all the rest of the women in America, it's do or die come 2024. We are now stuck with someone far worse than Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy was just a pussy who couldn't stand up to anyone. Mike Johnson, he's full on MAGA QAnon. Joe Biden's not the legitimate president of the United States in his eyes. Women do not have any rights, and neither do gay and transgender people. That's just for starters. If you're thinking after all of that maybe he accepts black people, I wouldn't bet on that either. We're talking about a white man from Louisiana here. If he already doesn't like gay people, he already doesn't like women, you can bet your life he doesn't like people of color much either. So let me give you all a warning. This is not to be trifled with, okay? This is not entertaining. This is not normal. This is not the way any government in any country should run, let alone one in the United States. So wake up and start talking to all of your friends now. We have 1 year to bury these scumbags, and that is exactly what we have to do. I'll talk to you all later.